Most people today are prisoners, not behind bars, but behind their own reactions. They wake up angry at a text message. They spiral into rage over a comment online. They lose their peace because someone didn't return their energy. They are controlled by whatever emotion rises in them, and they call this living. But the Stoics knew better. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who could have commanded armies with a word, chose instead to command himself. Seneca, who had wealth and influence, understood that the only real power was the power over his own mind. Epictetus, born a slave, came freer than most men because he mastered the one thing no one could take from him, his inner world. They discovered a truth that the modern world has forgotten. Real strength is not in how hard you can hit back. It is in how still you can remain when everything around you is chaos. Emotional discipline is the invisible armor of a powerful mind. It is the difference between a man who is tossed by every wave and a man who stands like a mountain in the storm. This is not about suppressing what you feel. It is about becoming the master of it. Because when you control your emotions, control your life, there is a moment that exists between what happens to you and how you respond. Most people never see it. It passes in a flash, and they are already yelling, already defending, already wounded. But the Stoic lives in that space. He stretches it. He pauses, he breathes, he looks at the insult, the betrayal, the disappointment, and he asks himself one question: does this deserve my peace? Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal that we have power over our minds, not outside events, and that when we realize this, we find our strength. He was reminding himself every single day that no one can make him angry without his permission. The world will provoke you. People will test you. Life will hit you with loss, rejection, disrespect, but your reaction is yours. It is the one thing no one can touch unless you hand it over. The Stoic does not react from emotion. He responds from reason. He does not give his power away to whoever can trigger him. He keeps it. He holds it. He uses it only when it serves him. This is the first secret. The pause is where your power lives. The second truth that Stoics understood is this: most of your suffering comes from fighting what you cannot change. You suffer because you want people to act differently. You suffer because you want the past to be different. You suffer because you demand that the world bend to your expectations. But the world does not care. It moves as it moves. Epictetus taught that there are things within your control and things outside of it, and wisdom is knowing the difference. You do not control what people say about you. You do not control whether you are loved back. You do not control the economy, the weather, the opinions of strangers, or the choices of those you care about. But you do control your thoughts. You control your effort. You control your integrity. You control how you interpret what happens to you. And that is enough. That is everything. When you stop wasting energy on what you cannot change, you become unshakable. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become the architect of your own peace. The Stoic does not complain about the wind. He adjusts his sails. He accepts reality as it is, and then he decides what to do with it. This is not passivity. This is power. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. The Stoics believe that every hardship is an opportunity to practice virtue. Every betrayal is a chance to practice forgiveness or boundaries. Every rejection is a chance to practice self-respect. Every moment of anger is a chance to practice patience. Seneca said that difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. He was right. The people who have never been tested have weak minds. They break easily. They crumble under pressure because they have never built the muscle of emotional resilience. But the Stoic welcomes resistance. He does not run from discomfort. He leans into it. He asks, "What is this teaching me? How is this making me better?" He transforms pain into power. He turns insults into indifference. He turns loss into lessons. He refuses to let the world make him bitter. This is the third secret: your pain is not your prison. It is your training ground. And the man who learns this becomes unstoppable. There is a kind of strength that does not shout. It does not defend itself in every argument. It does not need to prove anything to anyone. It simply is, The Stoics called this inner dignity. It is the ability to remain calm when someone is trying to provoke you, to stay silent when someone expects you to explode, to walk away when others are desperate for you to engage. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the best revenge is to not be like that. He knew that when you let anger control you, you become what you hate. You lower yourself. You lose your composure. You give your enemy exactly what they wanted, your peace. But when you stay calm, when you refuse to react, you rob them of their power. You show them that they cannot move you, that you are not controlled by their words or their actions. You are controlled by something deeper, your principles. The Stoic does not need to win every argument. He does not need the last word. He knows that silence is often the loudest response, that walking away is sometimes the strongest move. This is the fourth secret: your dignity is more valuable than your need to be right. Most people are slaves to the opinions of others. They dress for approval. They speak for validation. They perform their lives for an audience that does not even care. And they wonder why they are exhausted, why they feel empty, why nothing they achieve ever feels like enough. It is because they are building their identity on sand, on the shifting reactions of people who are just as lost as they are. Epictetus taught that if you live for the approval of others, you will die by their rejection. He was saying that when you tie your worth to external validation, you lose yourself. You become a puppet. But the Stoic builds his worth internally. He does not need applause. He does not need recognition. He does not need people to understand him. He knows who he is. He knows what he values. And he moves through the world with quiet confidence because his peace does not depend on anyone else. He compliments himself in private. He holds himself accountable. He improves because it matters to him, not because someone is watching. This is the fifth secret: freedom begins when you stop caring what they think. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a practice. And it is one of the most powerful tools the Stoics had for emotional discipline. Because when you are grateful, you cannot be bitter. When you focus on what you have, you stop obsessing over what you lack. Marcus Aurelius would begin his days by reminding himself of the good people in his life, the lessons he had learned, the fact that he was alive to see another sunrise. He did this intentionally because he knew that the mind, left to itself, will focus on problems. It will find reasons to complain. It will magnify every inconvenience. But when you train your mind to see the good, you change your entire experience of life. You stop being a victim. You stop feeling like the world owes you something. You start seeing that you already have more than enough, that every challenge is temporary, that every setback is just a setup for something better. The Stoic does not take anything for granted. He knows that everything can be lost, and because of that, he appreciates everything while it is here. This is the sixth secret: gratitude is the antidote to entitlement and the foundation of inner peace. The final truth is this: stillness is a superpower. In a world that rewards reaction, the person who can remain calm has already won. In a culture that celebrates outrage, the person who stays composed controls the room. In relationships where emotions run wild, the person who can pause and think clearly becomes the leader. Seneca wrote that nothing is more honorable than a calm and steady mind. He understood that most people live in emotional chaos. They are reactive, impulsive, scattered. They say things they regret. They make decisions from fear or anger. They burn bridges they will need later. But the Stoic is different. He moves slowly. He thinks before he speaks. He waits before he acts. He does not let urgency rob him of clarity. And because of this, he makes better choices. He builds better relationships. He lives a better life. This is not about being cold. It is about being controlled. It is about knowing that you can feel everything and still not be ruled by it. The Stoic experiences anger, but he does not let it make his decisions. He feels sadness, but he does not let it define his identity. He knows desire, but he does not let it become desperation. He is the calm in the center of the storm, and that is where all true power resides. So understand this: emotional discipline is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming unshakable. It is about training your mind so well that no insult can wound you, no rejection can break you, no loss can destroy you. It is about building yourself into someone who does not need the world to be kind in order to be at peace. The Stoics were not born with this strength. They built it, day by day, choice by choice, reaction by reaction. And so can you. You can choose the pause over the reaction. You can choose acceptance over resistance. You can choose growth over bitterness. You can choose dignity over defensiveness. You can choose internal validation over external approval. You can choose gratitude over complaint. You can choose stillness over chaos. These are not just philosophies, they are decisions. And every time you make one of these decisions, you become stronger. You become freer. You become the kind of person who cannot be controlled by circumstance. The kind of person who walks through fire and comes out calm. The Stoic does not run from emotion. He channels it. He does not avoid pain. He masters it. He does not fear the storm. He stands still while the world trembles. And that is the ultimate freedom.